So this time I have a relatively quick one. This is a Toshiba DVD player, and the problem is the disc is stuck inside. You turn it on, it'll just play the disc, but you can't eject it. So let's see what's wrong. And no, it's not a belt. So this should be a pretty quick one. I got this DVD player that it works, it won't open. You turn it on, it says load, and it works, but you can't get the disc out of it. And there actually is a disc in it. It says no disc, but there is a disc, and it'll try to open. Well, it won't open, and then it'll load, and then it'll just play with the disc that's in it. So shouldn't be much wrong with this. Let's see why it won't open. And that's the disc that's stuck in it. Friends Season 2. That's all it plays. So let's just pop the top off this one. Should be pretty simple to get in and see why it's not opening. Maybe it's a belt. I don't know. This is 2006, so it's pretty old, but it works. Got a bunch of stuff coming to be worked on my next work days in the shop here, because I normally only work 3 days a week at the most in the workshop here. I usually work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and sometimes Sunday. Today being Sunday, because this is my shorter day at my regular job. Normally when I get done with my regular, I work 10-hour days, but Sunday is a shorter day. So sometimes I have time to look at something. So let's take a look and see what's inside this piece of junk. Not much in it, pretty empty. The power supply over on one side, disk drive on the other. This is probably the loading motor here, or is it not? I don't even know how this. Well, I've never seen one of these drives. Pretty cheap. Looks like your standard Chinese drive, this one. Is it made in China? Yeah, made in China. This is a typical Chinese drive. What is holding the disc in? Shut this thing off. We'll remove the disc manually and see if there's anything under here. The rubber pads here are deteriorating. Okay, get rid of that disc. I'm just curious. This is the motor that turns the sled. So there's got to be a loading motor under here somewhere. Just a standard cheap motor, no BSL on this. Some of them had a BSL motor and they were really good. They'd go on forever. This is just a basic DC motor type. You know, the cheapest stuff, the cheap. I guess I may have to pull the mechanism to get to the bottom. It might be a broken gear or cracked gear or belt that's gummed up or something, but try to get this one opening and closing. course, that drive is secured down. The connectors are secured down. So let's just pull the front off of it if we can. Okay, now I can lift this up here and see what's under this side. And there is a loading motor in the front right here. If I can somehow battery decided to die. Okay, well I guess I gotta charge that one up before I can use it again. Most of these ones, there's a little rod that you can slide to open them up. And say I can't lift this drive up much more because I don't want to damage the ribbon cable that's under here that's holding the laser in place. But usually there's a rod that you can slide back and forth to open it up. It might be this over on the side here. Might be able to push something in here. Yeah, I might be able to get in here and flip some gears. I think it's probably a belt that's. The belt's not bad though. It doesn't seem to be broken or sticking. So the belt's not damaged. So why is it not opening? Got other problems with this thing maybe. I'll just try plugging it in again and see what it does. Maybe the motor is shot or a switch or something. Turn it on. Like the motor's not even trying to turn. Very, very slowly. And not with much power, that's for sure. Like this loading motor's shot. That's what I think the problem is. Interesting. We'll disconnect the power to the motor from the board here. I've unplugged this plug. We'll just put power to this thing directly with that power supply and the motor should spin like crazy. Maybe spin this thing up even faster. It might be just that the motor itself has been sitting around so long that it's just kind of sticky. So let's give it 13 volts. Okay, let's plug power back in and see if the motor will try to spin better on its own. Obviously, the motor is not worth replacing. Oh, now it's turning. Excellent. Well, let's put the belt back on and see what happens. Alright. Will it close and open? Well, that's a little better. A whole lot better. Excellent. We'll just remount this drive and see if it works. Might be the easiest fix I've had all week, considering that the last thing I worked on was that horrible reel-to-reel machine that took forever to find a broken wire, and still can't figure out how the wire broke. I'm thinking though, my thoughts on this is that very likely there was a revision to the schematic and that the wire did not go directly from that circuit board down to the plug. It stopped somewhere else in the middle, and then went to the plug. That's what I'm thinking, and that there's maybe a connection. But regardless, that's where the fault was, on the muting line. Okay, pop this piece back on, and that looks a little better. There it goes. It's playing. Excellent. Okay, so that was a nice, easy one to fix. And I've never seen that happen before. Maybe it's because it sat for a while, hadn't been used for a while, and then when it was turned on again to be used, the motor just got stuck. Hit open. There we go. Okay. Excellent. Well, now you know what can happen. It doesn't open and close. Don't automatically assume that the fault is a belt, because in this case the belt is fine. It's got lots of torque. It was the motor itself, and the motor wasn't burned out, but it just required to get a good little spin going to it there. I put like 13.6 volts. I unplugged obviously the cable here that went to the board, so I didn't backfeed and fry anything on the board, because it would blow up a chip, I'm sure. But that got this one running, which is kind of interesting. I had that happen before on a Bissell vacuum that belongs to my daughter, and the motor itself wouldn't turn. I took the motor out and I cranked the voltage up, just ran the crap out of it. Got all kinds of smoke out of the motor and everything, because I guess the motor got contaminated. Something got wound around the brushes and on the armature. And it works. It still works to this day. So that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.